Okay, this is my video review of IWA-MS A Rotten Farewell, the Ian Rotten retirement show. First thing I'll say is it was anything but rotten. It was very warm, open, good, entertaining. There wasn't really anything bad about this event. I mean, there was some bad match, or not bad matches, but the wrestling quality wasn't really up to standard, but they were still very entertaining matches. Don't get me wrong. And the fans were always into it. It was a very emotional night. And I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And I'm doing it at the start as opposed to at the end, because I just wanted to explain that stuff first. I also want to explain the importance of IWA South. It is, sorry, one of the most important independent promotions in the United States. A lot of the biggest names currently have gone through IWA Mid-South at some point or another, and will in the future. Like Chuck Taylor is a name that comes straight to mind, because he's going to be a big star one day. I can guarantee it. He is just the potential he has is just unlimited, and it was really IWA Mid-South which really gave Chuck Taylor his first break when they gave him the heavyweight title for 12 months. It was just, it's really a testament to Ian's eye for talent, and that's really what's so important about it. These guys get a shot to, or are given a platform to really do what they want and show what they can do. Without IWA Mid-South, I'm afraid that a lot of guys wouldn't have that opportunity. Also, they need to get paid, so that's what else it's good for. I will start off by I will also say that there were two very good discussions by maybe even three, well, 2.5, by Ian Rotten himself. He comes out and he talks with the fans quite a bit compared to other wrestling promoters and even wrestlers. But because it's such IWA Mid-South feels like a family, and even watching you feel like you're a part of the family. The fans accept that. You couldn't do that in other promotions. They sit there and they hang off every word he says, which is really shows you how special it is. But he talks about some things, and that are actually quite enjoyable. You won't get bored of them. He sort of sucks you in with it. Anyway, onto a review of the wrestling, which is what a lot of people probably wanted to hear about. Opening match was Chrisjen Hayne versus Mike Stevens. This was a good opener. Solid wrestling, solid psychology to it. There was a really good looking chokeslam by Mike Stevens, and the finish was a very good 450 splash by Chrisjen Hayne. But yeah, very, very solid opener. Next match was one of the best matches of the night, which was Jack Thriller versus Jimmy Jacobs, and these two went out and gave it their all. The story behind this match was Jack Thriller scored an upset in the last time these two met. Jack Thrill's sort of a young guy, and Jimmy Jacobs is the veteran and former IWA Mid-South champion, and he's doing bigger and things. And he's a big name now, and Jack Thriller beat him last time they wrestled by working over the injured knee of Jimmy Jacobs. And so in this match, the psychology had changed up like a second match would, where Jimmy Jacobs was more aggressive to not let Jack Thriller work on that knee. Eventually he did get into it and did beat Jimmy Jacobs. But Jimmy Jacobs cut a promo saying next time you're not going to, and it was just a really, really good match. 3 and 4, 3 and 3/4, 4 fucking quarters, that'd be 4. Next match was CJ Otis and Bull Payne. The story behind this is CJ Otis is the deathmatch killer, and Bull Payne is a deathmatch wrestler who's pretty much been around since the start of, or around the start of IWA Mid-South. I'm pretty sure he was around at the start. So he's older, and fans know him and just know how tough he is. And I mean, he's scary. He just needs to say, "You gonna cry, bitch?" And you're like, shit yourself by watching it. You're scared for CJ Otis, because you legitimately think that Bull Payne is going to kill him. But yeah, it did seem to me that Bull Payne was in a bit of pain himself. No pun intended or anything, but yeah, it was still a good match. It, wasn't the best wrestling match, but had the psychology that would be between these two guys, which is CJ Otis trying to keep away from him and just cracking under the pressure of having to wrestle someone like Bull Payne and him being the veteran, just tearing him apart. So I'll give it 2 stars. Fourth match was a triple threat elimination match between Ricochet, Billy Rock, and Brian Skyline. 3 guys that you should watch out for in the future because they are really good. I mean, really good. And it was a high-paced match. The only criticism I have is that I felt it was a bit short because I was enjoying it so much. So I'd give it 2 3/4. Next matchup was Iron Saints versus the Naptown Dragons. This was a 3-on-3 6-man tag. Very good, very solid. Sometimes it got a bit slow, but it was still solid wrestling. Never a boring part in the match. So, there was just really nothing which made it stick out that I can remember. So, but I'll still give it 2 3/4. Next match was Too Cold Scorpio versus Micheal Elgin. My problem here is I think Too Cold Scorpio did make Micheal Elgin look a little bit weak in the match, and the start of the match was a bit slow, but as it got to the end, it got really good. But then I was disappointed with the finish, which was just a roll up, and then they did the whole handshake respect thing, which it would have. I don't think it really worked as well as it could have. I think the handshake for respect at the end of matches is sort of overused these days, but if it was more of an epic match, it would have really worked a lot better, because Micheal Elgin had the upper hand. If Too Cold Scorpio really brought it back and did really good. So 2.5. Drake Younger versus Sandman. This wasn't really a match. This was sort of just Sandman coming out, doing a couple of headlocks. It was sort of just a bit of a joke, I guess. Sandman talking on his phone and being drunk. But yeah, I'll give it a 1/4 of a star just because of the couple of headlocks there was and showing Sandman can do a bit of mat wrestling. Next match which is the match of the night: Mike Quackenbush versus Eddie Kingston versus Chris Hero versus Chuck Taylor. 4 guys I'm a big fan of, and it really did what you have to do in a 4-way match, which is as a 4-way elimination match, which as people get eliminated, the dynamics have changed, like the psychology changes. Like when you had Chris Hero and Eddie Kingston because they were rivals. That it turned into a brawl. It was also for the Mid-South heavyweight title and light heavyweight title. Chuck Taylor took the light heavyweight title because he pinned Quackenbush. Kingston took the heavyweight title because he was the last man in it. Hardcore Battle Royal. Nothing really special, but nothing really bad. It's still entertaining. 1 1/4. And the main event, which was Mickey Knuckles versus Ian Rotten. This is hard to rate. If it was on an emotional scale, it would be 5 stars. But it was still a good, solid wrestling match, and I'll give it 3.5. It's definitely a match you won't forget. It was really emotional, and it was really good, and Ian pulled out all the stocks, and Mickey Knuckles is just a great wrestler.